Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. MC-Mura here, and in today's video I'm going to give you some tips on how you can fight against Seth in this season of Street Fighter V. The season of course is coming to an end, and I think it's fair to say that Seth is by far the strongest character in the game. I think we all knew that Seth was top 5 from like week 1, but it took some time to realize how overpowered and ridiculous and absurd this character really is. So let's first talk about the elephant in the room. And of course, the elephant in the room when it comes to this is the axe kick, because this move is almost completely busted. I honestly think outside of Balrog Tab Punch in Season 2, this is the single strongest move to have ever existed in Street Fighter 5. The X kick is absurd, the range is busted, it's very hard to actually make it whiff. Like this is the medium version and it's like half screen range. The range is really big. He does have some landing recovery, so if you force Sis to whiff it, like if I'm walking backward and Sis whiffs it, you can get a punish here. So this is one of the answers to this. You wanna make him whiff the dive kick, and if he does, you can get a punish. But of course, it's really hard to get to that to begin with. And this is a medium one. The light one is very fast. Like as you can see, this one is very fast. Even if I'm ready to it, anti-airing this, especially in matches, is super hard to do. If you are crouching, he is +2. So he's in a really good position after it. Even on block, it is actually -2. So there is some options that you can do here. If you're fighting against it, you might try to use your standing heavy kick. Something like Ibuki standing heavy kick. Something that hits in the upward direction. Might be good to throw preemptively, but again, not really that good either. Her anti-airs are not even working that much. There's not really a lot that you can do about this, honestly. Like when you see a character like Guile struggling to anti-air this, you know like it's completely busted. And the thing about this attack is, sometimes honestly the best answer is to just take it. Like what I do now, honestly most of the time, is I just accepted that Sis will do whatever he wants. So maybe try to block it and take back your turn. Maybe that is the best answer for this attack. Again, something like a standing heavy kick might be an option to throw that one, kinda preemptively. But the issue with throwing out moves like your standing heavy kick is this. If you throw moves that hit in the upward direction, and Sis happen to choose not to jump in this instant, you can just die to one of these moves. So it is a very big risk that you're taking. Like you have to play around the axe kick so much that you will throw out unsafe stuff that he can just completely punish. Another type of the axe kick is the high axe kick. This is a thing that some Sis players like to do, and the idea here is they are mixing it with his regular jump. So I will try to like anti-air as if he's jumping normally, and then he will delay it and land in front of me, right? This is interesting in many ways. For this to work, Sis have to do either the medium or the heavy versions. And there is a different voice line and delay to each of them. So for example, for the medium version, he is saying you're apart, right? And when he does that, and when you block it really high like that, it is -4, so you do get a punish actually. This is punish at -4, this is punishable, and most of the casts can punish this, right? You're apart, if it is really high, you get to punish it. The second version is of course the heavy version, emerge or whatever he's saying. And this one is really hard to get to punish. On block, you're gonna be like +2, +3. It's safer than the other one. So what I like to do versus this one, because it is so slow and the vertical or the horizontal hitbox is not that great, I like to dash under and punish the recovery. So I see him with the delay and then I do the dashing. So for example, see him stuck in the air, dash forward, and then you can get a punish. This one was kind of unfortunate. Let's try it again. And you do get a punish here, right? So overall, this move of course is very hard to deal with. Like I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, not gonna tell you like there is a magical answer to this attack. Some characters like Cody, for example, I play Cody, his V skill 1 kinda deals with it, but again it's really hard. Berries are okay versus it, but you are again making big risks. Overall, it's a very strong attack, very dominant attack. It is the identity of the character. Hopefully the patch is coming soon and something will be changed about this, but for the time being and until it gets adjusted, honestly either try to whiff punish it or just accept that it is, or take a massive risk and try to use an upwards hitting attack preemptively. So now we are going to talk about Seth's spin kick or the Tatsu like attack, because this one it is important to know how to deal with and what are your options. Of course it have a light, medium and heavy versions, and the properties are different for each of them. The heavy one is important to note because it is plus on block. You will notice that it has the most startup. He does a multiple spins and he says die, right? So die is the plus on block one. Of course for die you can actually interrupt this. It doesn't even have to be a 3 frame. The window is really big, like you can even crush counter him here if you are really ready for it. But generally try to interrupt with lights, right? Because by the time you react, you want to use your fastest possible attack and you're gonna get a counter hit combo anyway. So you wanna use the lights, right? So that is nice. The mix-up comes in the form of the medium, because if you try to interrupt the light, like if I try to interrupt this one, I thought he might try to do the heavy, you will trade, right? It will trade with a 3 frame. But here is the trick. You can actually do, if your character have an armor attack, or you have a heavy punch DB, a move that is invincible but not even from the first frame, you can actually just DB here. So for example, with someone like Jury, you can heavy punch DB and this will beat both options. If he does the heavy Tatsu or if he does the medium one, your heavy punch DB will beat both. So it is important to know that an armor attack will also work in this instant, right? So both of these are really good. Another aspect that you have to be very aware of is what Seth will likely to do out of a crouching medium kick. Of course, out of the crouching medium kick, Seth might do the Tatsu attack, right? First, let's look at this. If he does the crouching medium kick into the medium Tatsu, this is not a combo. Even if I get hit by the first one, I can block the second. And the second one is -4. The medium Tatsu is -4. So if I block this one, I do actually get a punish here, right? Let's try this one again. So on a medium kick Tatsu, it doesn't combo from the crouching medium kick and you get a punish. Of course, this also applies to the first one we mentioned earlier. If he does this, the too easy, which is a medium, and he did this point blank, you do get a punish. So for the medium one, it is punishable, it is -4, you do get a punish. So you can interrupt with DB or armor, and you can punish it on block. Too easy, remember, because each one of them have a different voice line. Now let's check out the final one, and that is the light. The light combos from the crouching medium kick. So out of a crouching medium kick, Seth will likely do this. Out of a crouching medium kick, Seth will either do the light or the EX, because this is the one that combos. He will not put himself in a situation just because to get punished, right? Like he's not gonna do that and just let himself get punished, right? The likely one that is gonna come out is the light, and the light is -8 on block. So let's check this out again. At -8, each character, of course, this is gonna vary depending on your character, but generally most characters can get a punish. Someone like Jury can get a punish like that, and you can deal good damage here, right? You can get some decent combos here. The EX one is also notable because the EX is -12. So out of the crouching medium kick, what is likely to come out is the light kick or the EX. The EX is -12, so you can comfortably punish this one actually. If he does it like really close, like that, you actually do get a big punishes here. So out of a crouching medium kick, the light one or the EX one are coming. The light one is -8, so you get a punish. If he is trying to mix you up with the Tatsus, you can interrupt the heavy. An invincible DB, even if it's not from the first frame, will beat both the medium and the heavy version, rendering that mix-up obsolete. And if you have armor, you can also challenge in this instant. Now let's talk about the V skills and how you can deal with them. And I'm gonna start to talk first about V skill 2. And if you remember in my previous video, the top 5 V skills in the game, I said that I think his V skill 2 is actually one of the very best. And it is a pretty obnoxious V skill to deal with, primarily because of this attack, right? This doesn't leave Seth in throw range, so it is really good. You can kinda try to interrupt him with light as he is dashing forward, but it is very inconsistent. As you can see, it's gonna depend mainly on when he did the punches, right? So this is not an answer. Trying to interrupt with the light is not really an answer, because if he did it kinda early, like from that spacing, you're gonna get hit. There is no tool that is guaranteed to beat this thing. You might even wanna try to neutral jump, but then you might get tagged. This, like neutral jumping it like that, might work sometimes it may not. So it's just a very inconsistent V skills to deal with, honestly. What I like to do here is honestly just either block it and V reversal, or try to neutral jump way. Sometimes if I catch it really early, I will try the normal, but I don't recommend it because sometimes if you do it really early, you will get punished. So there is no straight answer here. There is honestly no straight answer. Like everything with Seth, there is no straight answer. The second thing I want to talk about is the crouching heavy kick and the V skill 1. This combination in particular is really obnoxious, because the crouching heavy kick, it puts Seth in a really annoying position where you can't really poke back. Like nothing you do will reach, and his V skill 1 have no hurt box. So when he's doing it, you can't really hit him, right? So it is very common for Seth player to kind of space trap you with the crouching heavy kick and then do his V skill. And when it's done correctly, you're gonna get got. The thing about this is you don't really want to be whiffing a lot of normals against Seth, right? You don't want to be whiffing many things here. He's not a character. His whiff punishment game is really good, so I don't like whiffing a lot. Generally, you don't want to be throwing out a lot of normals in the neutral against Seth, especially if he has V skill 1 on. What you want to do is you want to whiff punish the crouching heavy kick. His crouching heavy kick is really good on block. Like if you happen to block this, yeah, the pushback is insane, but it's actually really whiff punishable on block. Like if you happen to make it whiff like that, as you can see, it's the hitbox kinda extend really far. So look at how far I'm able to whiff punish Seth from. And Nikali's heavy punch is good, but like Seth's hurtbox extends super far. So if you manage to get this attack to whiff, you can absolutely whiff punish it from way far, right? So the key to dealing with his crouching heavy kick is to whiff punish it against his V skill 1. You don't want to mash too much, you want to stay careful a little bit. And if you happen to block it, he is -2 anyway, so it's not a bad deal per se, right? It's a really good V skill, but I don't think it is as branded as his V skill 2. That's what I'm trying to say. The other options, of course, I want to talk about is some of Seth's pressure game. Seth have a lot of block strings. The crouching medium punch is primarily what Seth players like to use for pressure, right? This move is 6 frame startup and it is only +2 on block. So this means that Seth can't really frame trap with it into itself. If you have a 3 frame, you can interrupt here, right? As you can see with Nikali, with a 3 frame I am able to interrupt, right? However, you have to be careful that if he does a standing medium punch after the crouching, I'm gonna get counter hit. But the standing medium punch itself is -2, so if I happen to block this, now it's my turn, right? The standing medium punch is -2, so if I happen to block it, it's my turn. So you either try to interrupt and risk getting counter hit, or you block it out and you will get your turn back. This is a little bit of it's a dare, pretty much. Like you have to call out, okay, I know this guy is gonna try to stagger, so I'm gonna standing medium punch or not. Also, many Seth players love to do something like this. So using your 3 frame is actually really good here, especially if it's standing, because you will be able to tag him out of the air, right? So it is pretty nice to mash your 3 frame, even in situations like these, because you might tag him out of the air as well. Overall, Sith have very good pressure. The V skills are really annoying and obnoxious. Both of them are really, really good. And on defense, he have to rely a little bit on the axe kick for pressure, the crouching medium kick to catch you walking back, and the crouching medium punch. But after the crouching medium punch, you can challenge or not. I would actually recommend challenging every now and then. You have to challenge and keep them honest. And now I briefly wanted to talk about Seth's throw game because it is a very dangerous and big part of the character, and a little bit about his V triggers and what you can do about them, right? Seth have a very obnoxious throw game because after Seth throws you, he is -1 after a dash, right? This is pretty obnoxious because this means that if you happen to don't have a 3 frame, if your character is a 4 frame character, after a dash, he is neutral. And this actually have a really good dash. So first, if your character have a 3 frame, you can absolutely walk up with a 3 frame here. And you will get a counter hit on him. If you try to dash up into action, you should be able to get a counter hit here, right? So both of these are really, really good. Another option that CIS players like to do is of course using the target combo, the forward medium into heavy target combo. This will catch you if you try to jump or something. So here I try to jump and it caught me. So what you can do here is block this, and if you happen to block it, you can absolutely get a punish on block. He's -5 here, right? So you do get a punish. So if you notice that he dashed, you might want to try to 3 frame. If he did the target combo, he can't hit confirm from the first hit only. So if he committed to the second and you happen to be blocking, you can get a punish here. It is -5 on block. It is a hard situation, like again, no sugarcoating it. It's a very, very annoying and hard situation. Players on all different levels of play struggle against it. You kind of have to make a read on it or try to react, but it's a really hard reaction. Like it's really hard and really tall order to ask someone to react to that, right? It is very hard. But these are your options. It is important to know what are your options, and if you happen to notice something, how you can check it, right? Now let's talk for a bit about his V-trigger, because Seth have a really stupid V-trigger as well. V-trigger 1, a couple of his special moves are punishable, almost all of them depending on your character. So let's check them out first. Of course, the Tatsu by itself, when he committed to the second part, it's -4, so you do get a punish, right? So the Tatsu is punishable, and the axe kick is the same deal, right? -4, so you do get a punish. So if he does the Tatsu and cancel into the V-trigger special, or the axe kick and cancel into the V-trigger special, you are getting a punish on both of these actions, right? The tricky one is the hands. Typically, the hands when cancelled is +2 on block. But depending on your V-reversal, you can actually get a punish here. It's a little bit tricky. But some characters like Poison here can actually get a punish on this thing. As you can see, I was +8 in this situation. So you want to V-reversal the first hand and just before he teleports, right? If you do this and you do it correctly, you can get a punish. Not all characters can get this. This is kinda character specific. You will have to lab it with your character and see if your character can get this punish. But if you can, this is very, very good. Like this makes the matchup a little bit easier. It's not gonna be really easy, but at least you have an answer to call out his offense and aggression in V-trigger, right? One thing you have to be very careful of when Seth has V-trigger is his EXDP. Because for example, when Seth wakes up with an EXDP, that is gonna be 250 damage or even more, and he's gonna get OK out of it. So when Seth have his V-trigger 1 on, honestly don't go on the offense that hard, because if he wakes up with a DB, you can get absolutely destroyed, right? Pretty much when Seth have V-trigger 1 on, you can't play the game. You can't walk back, you can't anti-air, or you can't jump because one axe kick will kill you. You can't really walk back because one crouching medium kick will kill you. You can't really meet him on wake up because one EXDB will kill you. Like it is pretty much a messed up V-trigger and a messed up situation, but it is what it is, right? He is the best character in the game for a reason, you know. Finally, let's talk for a little bit about the other V-Trigger, V-Trigger 2. V-Trigger 2 is a lot trickier. Most players will not have to deal with it that much, but what you want to do here is you want to reversal this V-Trigger on activation, V-reversal it on activation. If you happen to block the mix-up, like let's say for example I'm blocking this, he can get follow-ups out of that and it can be risky. So what you want to do here is you want to V-reversal the activation itself. If you did that, even if you got hit by the ball, he will be knocked back. He will not really be able to do that much about it, right? It will not convert into much. It's a really good V-Trigger as well, but it's a really advanced V-Trigger, and only on the highest level of gameplay will you actually see amazing mixes out of this V-Trigger. And that is pretty much it today on this. There's a little bit more to this character, but we'll see. I want to wait out and see like the patch notes, especially on how this character will change, because like I said, Seth is the best character in the game in my opinion by a landslide. I hope that I was able to at least give you some pointers on what you can do. Doesn't mean that you will be able to do it, because again, he plays his own game, but these are your options, right? If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment. It helps the channel so much. Thank you very much for watching. Please consider subscribing if you haven't yet, and consider supporting me on Patreon if you really want to. Again, thanks very much for watching and stay safe.